escaped a maximum security prison. The prison was completely made out of bedrock and was on an island in the middle of nowhere. And it was built by my best friend Korean, and he said there was no way we could escape it. We spawned into a giant room, and in front of us was a villager. And the villager was standing on a pressure plate that was connected to a command block. So to activate that command block, we would have to push the villager off of the pressure plate. And above the command block said remove netherite block. And that netherite block that it was talking about was right next to me. And behind the netherite block was the way out. So that means if we're able to move this villager off of the pressure plate, it would get rid of this netherite block and we could escape the prison. But I had no idea how we were supposed to move the villager because there was an invisible wall between us. But in the middle of the invisible wall, there was a 1-block hole. So that means all we have to do to escape is get an item like a bow or an item that we could throw at the villager. And with that, we can push the villager off the pressure plate and escape. So our goal is to find a throwable item to push him off. But the only items in this room was a brewing stand and a blaze powder. But I was pretty confused because I had no idea how a potion was supposed to help me push that villager. But there was 2 other rooms, and in the first room, it was literally a giant box with a glass bottle in the middle. And this seems really weird because why would there be only a glass bottle in this giant room? There had to be something else in here. So I went to the corners to see if there was any fake blocks or any hidden passageways, but I literally found nothing. This was just a giant room with literally no purpose. So I decided to leave it alone and go to the second room. And in this room, it was literally just lava. But obviously, there was going to be something behind the lava. So I started to spam right click, and I found an item hopper, and inside was a dead bush that said that I was short. This is just not true. I am the tallest man to ever man. But that was literally it. We checked every single thing in this prison, and the only thing we got is a dead bush that says that I'm short, a glass bottle, and a blaze powder. And I had no idea how that was going to help us move this villager off the pressure plate. We were kind of screwed. I knew I was missing something, but I had no idea what. So I decided to look around the room, and I went to the freedom tunnel. And inside the freedom tunnel, I saw a hidden item hopper. And inside the item hopper was a nether wart. But that was literally it. We explored every single room and every single part of the prison. And all I had were these items. So I decided to go back into the lava room to see if there was anything that we missed. Then I went into F5 mode to check what was behind the lava. And when I did, I found a hidden passageway in the corner. So I had to run through this extremely quickly and not get burnt alive. So I took a step back and ran through and survived with 8 hearts. But this room was completely empty with a nether portal inside. And behind the nether portal was lava. So it seemed like we had to get an item to catch on fire to activate this portal. So I looked around the portal to see if there was anything hidden around it because still, we had no items at all. And when I was looking at all the corners, I noticed something weird. In the water, there was actually a hopper and inside was a spider eye. So I ran back into the main room to the brewing stand to see what I could make. But we needed water for a glass bottle. And I was trying to think of when was the last time we saw water. And then I realized we were literally just at water. So I jumped back into the secret room and made my bottle into a water bottle. Then I jumped back into the main room and using my nether wart, I turned my water bottle into an awkward potion. And now the only item that we could use in the brewing stand was this spider eye. And the spider eye turned the awkward potion into a potion of poison. And this was completely useless. We just did all of that just to get a drinkable bottle of poison. I didn't want to poison myself. The goal was to move the villager. And we already checked every single room. I had to be missing something, but I had no idea what. So I went back into the giant empty room just to double check in case there was anything. But I could not find a single thing in this room. So I decided to go back to the hidden room in the lava. And the only thing I could think of doing in here is to light this portal on fire using the lava. So all we had to do was find an item that lights up on fire. And I tried to use my dead bush, but it didn't work. And all that did was remind me of my height. I hate being short. And I kept checking all over this room for anything. Any clues, any hidden messages, anything at all. I even checked behind the lava walls to double check if there was anything I was missing. But there was nothing. And at this point, I wanted to give up. I decided to check one more time. And if I wasn't able to find anything, I would just quit and Korean would win. So I went into the giant room one more time. But this time when I was walking, I noticed something. There was string on the floor. That's pretty useless, I'm not gonna lie. But still, we were making progress. That's why this room was so big. There must be hidden string everywhere. So I started to click on every block in the room because I had to get every piece of string in here. And then I found a second one. And then a third. And then on the way out, I found a fourth. So now we had 4 string, which to be honest, I do not know what to do with this. So I went into the crafting book and I realized that we can craft a white wool. And that's when it hit me. We can use this piece of wool to make the nether portal light up. So I went into the lava room and went to the secret entrance and then placed my wool right next to the lava. And then the wool caught on fire and the portal activated. And then I jumped inside and we were now in the nether. And right next to the portal was a sign that said get before exit, 1 spider eye, 1 mushroom, and 1 sugar. And what these items would craft is a fermented spider eye. And then I realized exactly how we were going to escape the prison. If you brew a fermented spider eye with our potion of poison, it would change it into a potion of harming. And if we're able to find 1 gunpowder, we could turn it into a splash potion of harming. And we could throw that on the villager and that would activate the command block to let us escape. So right now, we're on the lookout for these items. And the first thing I saw in this room was a railway with a sign that said this way. And there was no way for us to just walk through because there was a bedrock block blocking us. But if we were able to find a minecart, we could place it on the rail and ride through it. And there was another sign in the room that said, yo, there's stuff here. And it was just a hole that led to a room that had a hopper inside. But it was 5 blocks high. So we had to find a way to get up to it. And now there was 2 rooms left. And inside the first room, it was completely empty. And this was pretty confusing. Why was there just an empty room? I tried to look around to see if there was any strings like there was from earlier, but I couldn't find any. So I decided to leave the first room alone. And in the second room, I found iron ore and a crafting table. And I realized what this iron ore was for. There was 5 iron ore right here. And if we were able to mine all of them, we could use this crafting table to make a minecart. And then we could place the minecart on this rail and we could go to wherever it leads us. So right now, what we had to do is find a way to mine this iron. So the first thing I thought of doing was mining the crafting table in case there was anything underneath it. And when I did, I found a button. But this button wouldn't help us with this iron. But maybe it would be useful for something later. So I kept looking for something to mine the iron. And that's when I noticed that there was sand right behind the portal we came through. So I decided to mine it all. But after I mined the sand, there was literally nothing else to do. We already checked all the rooms. And if I broke this iron with my fist to see if there was anything underneath, I would not be able to mine it and get the ore. And there was no way for us to access the room with the rails or for us to access the room that was 5 blocks up. So I was pretty confused as to what we were supposed to be doing. The only other room left was this empty one. And I knew there was something suspicious about it. And when I kept looking around, I noticed something weird. These 2 bedrock blocks were slightly different color than the normal ones. And when I punched them, they turned out to be fake bedrock blocks. They were just retextured maps. And behind it was a secret hopper and inside had 5 gunpowder. And with 4 sand and 5 gunpowder, I knew exactly what I had to do. So I placed my crafting table and put my 4 sand and my 5 gunpowder in the crafting table and made a piece of TNT. And then I went to the iron ore and I placed it on top of it and used the button from before and lit up the TNT. And when it exploded, it actually revealed the item hopper right underneath. And inside was 1 gunpowder. So now we had the gunpowder to make the potion throwable and we had the 5 raw iron to make a minecart. But now what we had to do is find a furnace. And we already checked every single room. So I tried to think of places that a furnace could be hidden. I looked inside the minecart tunnel to see if we hid it on the sides, but I couldn't find anything. Then I had the idea to check behind the nether portal and I found it. But we still had a problem. We had 5 raw iron, but we had nothing to smelt it. So we also had to find something to smelt the iron. And I was about to use the crafting table, but then I realized that we could just use the signs. I counted and there was 5 signs in this room. So I mined all the signs and then went back to the furnace and placed my 5 signs inside, and 5 signs was exactly enough to make 5 iron ingots. So I raced to the crafting table and crafted my 5 iron ingots into a minecart. But before I went to the rails, I remembered that we still had to go to the room up here. But we only had 1 block, and that was this crafting table. So we needed at least 3 more blocks. So we had to think of a way to be able to get up there. And then I realized we have a way. If I mine this rail and then place it in front of the room and then place my minecart on top of the rail and hop inside the minecart, we would now be able to access the hopper. And inside the hopper was sugar. So now we had 1 out of the 3 items we needed. So then I broke my minecart and broke the rail and went back into the railway. So now we only needed 2 items to make the splash potion of harming. We needed a mushroom and we needed a spider eye. So I placed my minecart and it took me to a new room. And this room was completely empty with just a villager. And when I right-clicked the villager, he was trading a dead bush for a mushroom. And the dead bush we got from the beginning that said that I was short actually came in useful. So I traded in my height for the mushroom. And now all that we needed was a spider eye. So I looked if there was a hopper underneath the villager, but there wasn't. And I clicked on every block in the room to see if there was any fake blocks, but I didn't find any. So I had no idea what I was supposed to be looking for or what I was supposed to be doing. But then I decided to go inside the rail system, and that's when I found it. The spider eye was hidden inside here. So I picked it up, and now we had everything we needed to escape. Then I went to the nether portal and went back to the prison. And I ran into the main room. But when I got there, I saw something weird. Korean was just floating in between me and the villager. But he wasn't doing anything. So I just placed it in my crafting table to make a fermented spider eye. I then put it in the brewing stand with the potion of poison, and it turned into a potion of harming. Then I used my gunpowder to make it into a splash potion of harming. And now I had the potion we needed. So I lined up perfectly to throw at the villager and threw the potion at the villager, and it worked. And the netherite block was gone. So I started to run up the tunnel, but behind me, Korean was chasing me. And before I could escape, he killed me. But the war between me and Korean is not over. We're racing to 500,000 subs, and Korean is gaining subs fast. So if you enjoy these videos, subscribe.